Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 3, verses 22 and 23. Verse number 22. Pratyudgama prashraya nabhivadanam vidhiyate sadhu mitha sumadhyame pragnay pragnay parasmay purushaya chetasa guha Shaya Shayayaiva na dehamanine. Translation. My dear young wife, certainly friends and relatives offered mutual greetings up by standing up, welcoming one another, and offering obeisances. But those who are elevated to the transcendental platform, being intelligent, offer such respects to the Supersoul, who is sitting within the body, not to the person who identifies with the body. Purport by His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanarvind Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. It may be argued that since Daksha was the father-in-law of Lord Shiva, it was certainly the duty of Lord Shiva to offer him respect. In answer to that argument, it is explained here that when a learned person stands up or offers obeisances in welcome, he offers respect to the Supersoul, who is sitting within everyone's heart. Among Vaishnavas, therefore, it is seen that even when a disciple offers obeisances to his spiritual master, the spiritual master immediately returns the obeisances because they are mutually offered not to the body but to the super soul. Therefore, the spiritual master also offers respect to the super soul situated in the body of the disciple. The Lord says in Srimad Bhagavatam that offering respect to his devotee is more valuable than offering respects to him. Devotees do not identify with the body. So offering respect to a Vaishnava means offering respect to Vishnu. It is stated also that, as a matter of etiquette, as soon as one sees a Vaishnava, one must immediately offer him respect, indicating the super soul sitting within. A Vaishnava sees the body as a temple of Vishnu. Since Lord Shiva had already offered respect to the super soul in Krishna consciousness, offering respect to Daksha, who identified with his body, was already performed. That there was no need to offer respect to his body, for that is not directed by any Vedic injunction. Text 23. Satvam Vishuddham Vasudev Shabditam Yad iyate tatra pumam apavrita Satve cha tasmin Bhagavan Vasudevo Hi adokshaja me namasa vidhiyate. I am always engaged in offering obeisances to Lord Vasudev in pure Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is always pure consciousness, in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, known as Vasudeva, is revealed without any covering. Purport. The living entity is constitutionally pure. Asango hi ayam purusha. In the Vedic literature, it is said that the soul is always pure and uncontaminated by material attachment. The identification of the body with the soul is due to misunderstanding. As soon as one is fully Krishna conscious, it is to be understood that one is in his pure original constitutional position. This state of existence is called Shuddha Sattva, which means that it is transcendental to the material qualities. Since this Shuddha Sattva existence is under the direct action of the internal potency in this state, the activities of material consciousness stop. For example, when iron is put into a fire, it becomes warm, and when red hot, although it is iron, it acts like fire. Similarly, when copper is surcharged with electricity, its action as copper stops. It acts as electricity. Bhagavad Gita 14:26 also confirms that anyone who engages in unadulterated devotional service to the Lord is at once elevated to the position of pure Brahman. Mam च यो व्याभिचारेण भक्ति योगेन सेवते सगुणान समतीत्यतान ब्रह्म भूय कल्पते. Bhuyaya Kalpate. Therefore, Shuddha Sattva, as described in this verse, is the transcendental position, which is technically called Vasudev. Vasudev is also the name of the person from whom Krishna appears. Vasudev. Vasudev is also the name of the person from whom Krishna appears. This verse explains that the pure state is called Vasudev because in that state of Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is revealed without any covering. To execute the unadulterated devotional service, therefore, one must follow the rules and regulations of devotional service without desire to gain material profit by fruitive activities or mental speculation. In pure devotional service, one simply serves the Supreme Personality of Godhead as a matter of duty, without reason and without being impeded by material conditions. This is called Shuddha Sattva or Vasudeva. Because in that stage, the Supreme Person, Krishna, is revealed in the heart of the devotee. Srila Jiva Goswami has very nicely described this Vasudeva Shuddha Sattva in his Bhagavad Sandarbha. He explains that Ashtottara Sata is added to the name of the spiritual master to indicate one who is situated in Shuddha Sattva or in the transcendental state of Vasudeva. The word Vasudev is also used for other purposes. For example, Vasudev also means one who is everywhere or all pervading. The sun is called Vasudeva Shabditam. The word Vasudev may be utilized for different purposes, but whatever purpose we adopt, Vasudev means the all pervading or localized Supreme Personality of Godhead. In Bhagavad Gita 7:19, it is also stated, Vasudev Sarvamiti. Factual realization is to understand Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and surrender unto Him. Vasudev is the ground wherein Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, is revealed. When one is free from the contamination of material nature, it is situated in pure consciousness or in the Vasudev state. Vasudev, the Supreme Person, is revealed. In this state is also called Kaivalya, which means pure consciousness. Jnanam Satvikam Kaivalyam. When one is situated in pure transcendental knowledge, one is situated in Kaivalya. Therefore, Vasudev also means Kaivalya, a word which is generally used by impersonalists. Impersonal Kaivalya is not the last stage of realization. In Krishna consciousness, Kaivalya, when one understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then one is successful. In that pure state by hearing, chanting, remembering, etc. Because the development of knowledge of the science of Krishna, one can understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead. All these activities are under the guidance of the internal energy of the Lord. The action of the internal potency is also described in this verse as apavrita, free from any covering. Because the Supreme Personality of Godhead, His name, His form, His qualities, His paraphernalia, etc., being transcendental, are beyond material nature, it is not possible to understand any one of them with the materialistic senses. When the senses are purified by discharge of pure devotional service, Rishikena Rishikesha Sevanam Bhakti Uchate. The pure senses can see Krishna without covering. Now one may inquire that since factually the devotee has the same material existential body, how is it possible that the same materialistic eyes become purified by devotional service? The example as stated by Lord Chaitanya is that the devotional service cleanses the mirror of the mind. In a clean mirror, one can see one's face very distinctly. Similarly, simply by cleansing the mirror of the mind, one can have a clear conception of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 8:8, Abhyasa Yoga Yuktena. By executing one's prescribed duties in devotional service, Chetasa Nanya or simply by hearing about God and chanting about Him. If one's mind is always engaged in chanting and hearing and is not allowed to go elsewhere, one can realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead, as confirmed by Lord Chaitanya by the Bhakti Yoga process. Beginning from hearing and chanting, one can cleanse the heart and mind, and thus one can clearly see the face of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Lord Shiva said that since his heart was filled with the conception of Vasudev, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, because of the Supreme Lord's presence within his mind and heart, he was always offering obeisances unto the Supreme Godhead. In other words, Lord Shiva is always in trance samadhi. This samadhi is not under the control of the devotee. It is under the control of Vasudev. For the entire internal energy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead acts under his order. Of course, the material energy also acts by his order, but his direct will is specifically executed through the spiritual energy. Thus, by spiritual energy, he reveals himself. It is stated in Bhagavad Gita 4:6, Sambhavami Atma Mayaya. Atma Maya means internal potency. By his sweet will, he reveals himself by his internal potency, being satisfied by the transcendental loving service of the devotee. The devotee never commands, My dear Lord, please come here so that I can see you. It is not the position of the devotee to command the Supreme Personality of Godhead to come before him or to dance before him. There are many so called devotees who command the Lord to come before them dancing. The Lord, however, is not subject to anyone's command, but if he is satisfied by one's pure devotional activities, he reveals himself. Therefore, meaningful word in this verse is adokshaja, for it indicates that the activities of our material senses will fail to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One cannot realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead simply by the attempt of one's speculative mind. But if one desires, he can subdue all the material activities of his senses and the Lord, by manifesting his spiritual energy, can reveal himself to the pure devotee. When the Supreme Personality of Godhead reveals himself to the pure devotee has no other duty other than to offer him respectful obeisances. The Absolute Truth reveals himself to the devotee in his form. He is not formless. Vasudev is not formless, for it is stated in this verse that as soon as the Lord reveals himself, the devotee offers his obeisances. Obeisances are offered to a person, not to anything impersonal. One should not accept Mayavad interpretation that Vasudev is impersonal, as stated in Bhagavad Gita. Prapadyate, one surrenders. One surrenders to a person, not to a impersonal non-duality. Whenever there is a question of surrendering or offering obeisances, there must be an object of surrender or obeisances. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्तस्य ज्ञानञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपकदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे मुखम करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयति गिरिं यत्कृपातमं वन्दे श्री गुरुदीनतारिणं वाञ्छाकल्पतरुश्च कृपा सिन्धुवे च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. Yeah. In Prabhupada's pranam mantra, we see now,
नमो विष्णुपदाय
Bhaktivedanta
कृष्णवेदान्त
Swami iti
स्वामी
namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine
गौरवाचार्य
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine.
पाश्चात्य
So Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. So this is very important aspect of what we are getting from our sampradaya or from any Vaishnava sampradaya. But Prabhupada has made it so evident in ours and in every purport and everything. He's made sure that Mayavad does not creep in. But I was watching this some podcast was going on, and this person he was showing to the whole world actually. Okay, he was showing to the whole world that see, I have read this Bhagavad. I'm reading to these days this Bhagavad Gita as it is. I'm reading this Srimad Bhagavatam, and they showed Prabhupada's Bhagavad Gita, and Prabhupada's Srimad Bhagavatam. And you know what he said? He said that, yes, I think there is a supreme energy called Krishna. I think, I'm coming to that realization that, we need to surrender unto that energy. Yes, I've chosen now Krishna, after, because I was this demigod worshipper now. Now I've come to Krishna, and it is making sense what this book says. But he was taking impersonal realizations, you know, and I was confused, totally confused, that it is so clear over there that Mayavad interpretation is not considered amongst us at all. Yes, we are very heavy with that part. We don't consider it at all. Now, yes, definitely, Brahman realization does exist. Yes, we are not negating that it does not. But to claim that it is the absolute truth, that is arrogance. It is not based on any Shastra. Yes, it is not based on any Shastra. Over here, Lord, in the purport, in the long purport which Prabhupada has given, he said that Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samahatmadu Sudurlabha. That's why to know Krishna in his own Swarupa, yes, in his own form, is actually very difficult. Yes, we will get bewildered very easily. He is called Adhokshaja. Yes, Adhokshaja means what? Yesterday night I was talking to Advait Prabhu. Adhokshaja, that you bhakti mam abhijananti. Only and only by pure devotional service that one can know me. Yes. To understand that Krishna is supremely so intelligent to give that, that in one line. Yes, bhaktya mam abhijananti. Only and only by devotional service. And I was telling him that this is actually a very important verse, because if you really think about it, we as devotees also get caught up into this. For example, yes, there are 10 benefits to having Tulsi Maharani in our house. What is the first most importance? Why do we worship Tulsi? The first reasoning, yes, maybe it's a setting of scientists and all, then it makes sense. But amongst us devotees, even as, sometimes we have that, because, she gives a lot of oxygen, it's good for the body, it is good for Ayurveda. Why to get up early in the morning? It's good for the body. All spiritual activities need to be done in the morning. Yes, all spiritual activities need to be done in the morning. It is good for your body also. Yes, why to take a cold bath? Because it is good for the body. Where is Krishna in all of this? He doesn't exist at all in our minds. And this is what Prabhupada and Krishna actually says in Bhagavad Gita. You cannot understand me by these mental speculations. It is not possible. Yes, somebody comes up with a formula that Jyotish actually works perfectly. Yes, we know that because it is in the Shastra. So we accept it, we have faith. And tomorrow some scientists come and Prabhuji, but there is no hardcore truth to proving Jyotish, you know. It might be, tukka lag raha hai, it might be some stone in the dark, we are shooting in the dark, and somewhere is going to be proven. But we need hardcore proof that it actually works. So let us go and research it out. Yes, that's a good service. That's nice. We appreciate that. But by proving Jyotish itself, by modern science, we can never prove that Krishna exists. Yes. Okay, somebody proved by putting, he can predict every single thing of your life. That at this moment, this person is going to breathe in this much of oxygen. Even that can be proven by Jyotish. And modern science goes ahead and creates a software in such a way that you can actually predict each and every moment of your life. Perfect. Very nice. Awesome. So what? Then what? No, then probably then the Vedas are real. Okay, the Vedas are real. Does it mean that it is an impersonal absolute truth? Or is it Krishna as the absolute truth? Or is it you as the absolute truth? That is something different. Yes. Then what did you prove eventually? What was the main aim of life? It was pure devotional service, I thought. But now we have moved somewhere else. We get very distracted. And we were having this discussion yesterday. The whole point in this whole came about is that even if you prove Jyotish is perfect, yes, The question is that, so what? Maybe some human created it. The Rishi Munis were very intelligent. They actually jotted down some algorithm. They studied the universe and we got Jyotish. How does it prove that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead? It doesn't prove anything. Why? Because you're taking the help of what? You're taking the help of modern science. We are taking the help of these modern education. Or we are taking the help of even the material sciences of the Shastras. That is what Krishna says to Arjuna. Yes, that it leads in Trigunya. Yes, Trigunya. Vedas lead in Trigunya. And now, leading in Trigunya, we will go and prove Shastra in somehow. And then Krishna is proved. And the argument which I gave was that, okay, fine, you prove Vedas, but already we have so much proof that the cow, the cow dung is antiseptic and all that stuff is there. But where are people coming forward and accepting Krishna as the absolute truth? People are still going about saying that you and I are Narayan, you and I are God. Okay, rather, you are not God, but I am God, and it is going to take time for you to realize that you are God, you know. It's there. So it will not prove anything, only and only by pure devotional service. That to following in the Sampradaya, we can actually understand Krishna as is. And then by his mercy, like Prabhupada mentioned in the purport, he reveals himself only to the people who have pure devotional service as their total mind, body, and words. And that's why this aspect I was missing out, when because I was having this discussion, and you have that moment when when it clicks, and I was thinking that this makes so much sense. That yes, he's called Adokshaja. You are going to prove something in the Shastra that does not mean anything. It has nothing. It still remains if Krishna exists or not. That question will always remain. But for a devotee, it doesn't remain at all. Why? Because he has faith in the Shastras. And that faith is transcendental. Yes, that faith is because of the Guru Parampara. That faith is because he has faith in authority. Yes, that Krishna is the absolute truth. And that's how he's submissive to the Bhagavad Gita. And then Krishna reveals himself, and then everything goes on very nicely. So ultimately, it's about faith. And the question was given how to develop faith. It's because, like Vamshi Gopal Prabhu said, we have association outside also. That doesn't create this faith. It creates in the association of devotees who have faith. Yes, that's why it is said that we have to associate with senior devotees because they have faith more than us in Krishna. So we have to be really careful that they might look senior. They might be senior in any aspects of their life, maybe in, better kirtaniyas, better orators, better this, better that. But do they really have faith in their Guru, in their words of Shastra, in the words of Shastra, in Krishna? Or are they giving this all these other reasons that how, getting up early is beneficial for the body and that's why you should get up early? No. If that is the reason why somebody is doing it, then he is going to preach that. And then that becomes a problem. Why? Then we are seeping into Sattvikism, you know. But we want to go to Shuddha Sattvikism. This is very fine tuning, and sometimes I feel go overboard with this. But this is for myself that I don't get caught up in all this. Otherwise, we miss the point. We will not go back home, back to Godhead. That is for sure. If we are getting up early because it is a good thing, there is no going back home, back to Godhead at all. Not in this lifetime, not in any lifetime. It's not possible. So we'll stop here.